May Day has come and gone in Pat's Nation. The mayhem and mania has subsided a little bit, but I got to say the early returns are in, and Pats fans are feeling pretty good about the future in Foxborough, or at least the stud under center. But what about the rest of the team? Where'd the defense go? Does the general manager have any idea what he's doing? And can the coach fix this checking out halfway through the game mess? Where's that renewed energy? We will discuss all these things on the latest Six Rings and Football Things podcast with your old pals, Nick Fitzy Stevens, and of course from the WEI Afternoon Show, Andy Jumbo Hart. Up top, nothing but Drake Maye. All the Drake Maye you can handle and then some. It's a Drake Mayhem, Mayzapalooza. May the force be with you. And then on the back end, we'll get to everything else in an extended Pat's Puri. All right, Andy, you have now had almost 48 hours to digest the debut of Drake Maye as QB1 for your New England Patriots. I know now your opinion may be tainted a wee bit because you had a chance to meet the handsome lad and interview him in person Monday down at Gillette Stadium. So all those factors considered, how are you feeling about Drake Maye as your quarterback now?
Oh, yeah.
I only heard one of those.
We don't get those too often, especially not when the game is played at Gillette Stadium. You really don't get those very often.
No, and just as a reminder, everyone, Pats have lost 5 in a row, and they have lost 10 of their last 11 at home. That is what is that guy said in that famous viral Cleveland Browns video? Like, you are a factory of sadness. Well, it's not quite that.
I blame you people so much for that home field advantage. You
2 minutes in. All right, very good. Thank you.
You people are as fraudulent as Bill Belichick. You know what you guys have in common? What? People and Bill Belichick both kind of stunk when Tom Brady left you.
Please. Look at
anyway,
this.
But forget that. No. This is positive. This is Drake Maye. This is you people and the Patriots and I and everyone have entered 2024. Offensively, you have a young, strong-armed, athletic quarterback to entertain you and maybe, hopefully, soon, someday in the future, win you football games. It wasn't perfect. I'm not going to pretend he didn't make mistakes. He absolutely made mistakes, and that is to be expected. In case you hadn't heard, they decided they had a plan that was to sit him for a while and then throw him out there in week 6 against one of the more aggressive pass rushing defenses and against a young gun quarterback who knows how to put up points. And well, it went pretty much as you'd expect. They lost by 20. But the reality is Drake Maye looked a lot like I think modern quarterbacks are supposed to look like, hey, I can kind of just drop back and with a flick, throw it 40 yards down the field for a touchdown. Hey, when this guy runs close to me, I'm going to run that way and pick up some yards up the field. Again, made mistakes, but I expected him to. So if you were looking for an A+, like 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, no mistakes performance, okay, he's not Tom Brady. But you know who he's pretty close to? I would say he's pretty close to, I don't know, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, the other young quarterbacks who are learning on the fly and have a 5-game head start on him and probably a better supporting cast. But we're only talking about Drake Maye. So if we're talking about, it's not May Day, it's May month, it's May year, it's May career. May the force be with you.
I couldn't agree more. I gave him when Chris Scheim called into our post-game show Sunday with the first Drake Maye report card, we both gave him like a high B, not a B+, but like solid, like 86. Like,
sure.
Were there mistakes? Yes. Could he have, were there some protection problems out there? Yeah, there were, but you know what? He could have avoided a few maybe, or at least he's got to develop his pocket awareness, especially on his not blind side with the strip sack. But then again, you're not going to.
Somebody should tell him, where is the pocket? Forget his awareness. Where is this pocket you speak of? Because I don't think there is one.
But he dealt with the twin terrors of Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, and by and large, he passed the test. It didn't pass it with
the
flying
twin
colors.
Terrors of Zach Thomas and DeMontre Jacobs.
Yeah, those are the real twin terrors as well. I know. 6 games, 5 different left tackles, 8 different line combos, 3 centers. We'll get to all that crap in the back end, but
whose butt is this? Hey, it's Ben Brown. Who the F is Ben Brown?
According to your coach, your best effing offensive lineman.
And he may not be wrong, and that may be the saddest of all things.
God almighty. Unreal. I'll tell you, I love the way he moved. I love that he seems unflappable, even though people talk about him being geeked up and needing to be talked down before the start. I was saying to Mego on WEI Monday night, I was almost happy, not actually, but almost happy he got his dumb interception out of the way early. Just airmailed one nice and early to pop. Didn't take enough heat off the heater, didn't take enough mustard off the hot dog, and just totally airmailed it. Had a dumb sack or two, had a fumble, and yet still in the face of all that, in a game whose outcome was decided before the opening kickoff was made or the first snap was handled, he still gave you hope at times by trying to lead a comeback. He scored before halftime, multiple touchdown drives, learned from his mistakes on the fly, and did everything we asked him to do for weeks leading up into this start, which was give me a couple shots, give me a couple plays that I want to share, give me some things to talk about at the tailgate, at the brewery, and on the podcast afterwards. And honestly, in the post Tom Brady days, he gave us the highlight of highlights.
Drake Maye, time and distance going, and he's got him! Boutte touchdown! What a throw! A 40-yard strike!
That was QB1 to wide receiver 1.
Nope,
that
not
pass.
Doing it.
I don't know if we don't actually really have one, so I can't say who the wide receiver 1 is right now. But that play was just sexual. It was just gorgeous. We had not seen a play like that. That was only the third 50-yard touchdown thrown in the last 3+ years for the Patriots, which is a sad state of affairs for the passing game and the offense at large. But he gave us every box that we requested was checked. Scooted well through off platform, sidearm, long balls, short balls, deep balls, quick balls, all your balls, Andy. I walked away from that game optimistic. Now, am I optimistic about the rest of the season? Nope. Am I optimistic about the team at large? Kind of not. But am I optimistic about Drake Maye being a real deal and something they better hurry up and build around ASAMFP? Boy, howdy, you betcha.
And I got on that touchdown exactly what I wanted, which was a recruiting video for receivers. I swear that video instantly, NFL, Patriots, everybody retweeting, was like, that made its way across T. Higgins' feed at some point. And T. Higgins goes,
What'd you with the T. Higgins?
New England's got one of those now? Oh, interesting. And then later he's scrolling. He's like, ooh, that Pop Douglas one? Boy, did he hit him in stride crossing the field for a touchdown. That is the kind of recruitment videos you need that people don't even realize are taking hold in social media that I firmly believe play a role in a year from now or whatever it is. Does a guy, you're going to put a $30 million plus per year on the table, but does he go, who's the quarterback? No, he goes, oh, they got that young kid. He runs around. He throws on. I'm always open. I can scramble drill with him. I'm telling you, you're looking at me skeptically, but
no, it's a recruiting video. Yes,
that recruiting video will work. That will help you land WR1 because you still need that. You don't even close to have that. So I believe there was value in that. And I am more optimistic than you for the rest of the year because I think there's a very good chance he puts up a lot of highlights and a very good chance they go 1-16 to secure the number 1 pick. And that is
just said.
Perfect. No, but that's optimistic. I don't know why you're pessimistic about it. That is the perfect scenario. Drake Maye throws, 24 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions, runs for a few touchdowns, makes some plays. They pick number 1 overall. They trade it to some suckers who want a sucky quarterback. They get multiple first-round picks.
Quinn Ewers might be a fine prospect.
I didn't say great.
That's why this class might be something else, dude.
Victory lap for all of us who said there's 3 franchise quarterbacks. Take whichever one slides to you at number 3. The Patriots did that.
I'll take DK Metcalf so we can get a make good versus T. Higgins. But any which way, I'd also, you know what else? I want LT one as well, and I might also want an RT one as well, and that's not a retweet.
You're going to get those with the extra picks and the extra money.
All right, here's a very good question. All right, here a reality check from Pat's Nation. Brad Sohn watching live on the Twix platform as we record the latest 6 Rings and Football Things podcast. How many negative plays did Drake have versus splash plays? We all knew he had some sizzle, or he wouldn't have been picked number 3. But how bad were his bad plays? Andy, did you think, like at large, because you are known to be a bit more, I don't know if you know this, but some people may think that you are a bit more negative or critical than I at times.
Well, see, it's weird. I don't know if you've noticed this, because I know you listen 2 to 6 every day, Monday to Friday, P1, put that shit
locked
on
it, just reach right over, I rip the knob off, and then I go find the knob when it's 6 o'clock. Well, I leave it on when I'm on.
Right.
But then at like 7:30, I'll turn it off.
Right. I have found this weird middling world I live in, where when I'm with you, I'm kind of the negative one. And when I'm with Arcand, I'm the positive one, because he was the wettest of wet blankets yesterday, because all he wanted to fixate on was the 52 other players. And I'm like, you have a quarterback. You have the most important player. You had an exciting, fun game. Yeah, you lost. Get over it, though. We're not spending this time ripping the roster, and we're not spending this time ripping Elliott Wolf. There'll be plenty of time for that down the road. Today is May Day. This is May week. We enjoy it. You have a quarterback. But there were negative plays. To me, the worst negative play was probably one that I think kind of flew under the radar. They called a screen pass. Screen pass was blown up and not there. And he held on to the ball, then tried to throw it late and got an illegal man downfield, because the linemen are like, that's a screen pass. This is already supposed to be over. Stupid rookie mistake. Get rid of the ball. If the screen isn't there, we've all seen Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, whoever, throw it right into the ground immediately. So that was an obvious, stupid rookie mistake.
And the thing is, you know, I like to say this is, you know, in the day and age of AI, where computers are constantly trying to ingest as much information as possible so as to be able to regurgitate problem solving, I don't know, term papers, whatever it is you need done for you, except without actually using your own brain or arms. The OI, original intelligence, means you have to go out and experience things, means you have to go out and succeed and fail in the field, in the theater, in real life, time and time again, until you create new muscle memory or you create new habits. And this is going to happen. I would hazard a guess he probably throws a pick in at least every other game the rest of the way this season.
Oh, at least.
Okay? At least. That's fine.
But again, I don't care about those. You know who also throws a lot of picks?
Do I.
Josh Allen throws a lot of picks, and that's who I comp him to. That's my dream for what Drake Maye is. I think he's a little bit of a meathead, a whack job. That was a good comment right there. Yeah, it's a very good comment. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's a good comment by Jeff.
Be that as it may.
B. Arthur?
Yes.
That okay. As it
right.
may?
Just no. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Keep going.
Yes. What the hell are you wearing?
A sweatshirt that I got for free when I went to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Mohegan Sun.
What the hell is that? We are a Miller Lite program.
Until we have a sponsor, I will wear whatever was what I found on the floor in the bedroom when I wake up at 5 to get the house in order.
I could take this in a whole direction about the controversy with Bud Light last year, but we'll probably avoid that.
That's like A, not germane to the Drake Maye conversation, and B, such old news at this point. Please.
So that was a bad play. The strip sack, I thought he held on to the ball. That's going to come. Timing, awareness, pocket presence when there ever is a pocket in his future, when they get better linemen. The first throw, interception, was just a bad throw. He was off target, as he noted, on some of his intermediate crossing throws, and then he hit the perfect one to Pop Douglas later. So there was a little bit of growth or improvement over the course of the game.
As a matter of fact, Andy, I believe I actually have him from his time with you in the studios at Gillette Stadium talking in answer to the question from Arcand as to whether or not he actually thought it was a great game.
And ask you, did your debut in the NFL go the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it did. I think you want to come out with a win. I think that's the kind of ultimate goal, especially in your first start, is coming out with a win, and we didn't get that done. Played against a good football team and definitely had flashes, but at the end of the day, what we preach in that locker room is winning football, and we didn't come out on top.
You literally couldn't ask him to say anything better. And I don't think
I do struggle to understand him sometimes.
I thought at first that was going to drive me nuts, but I kind of like the fact that even though he's a North Carolina kid, there's a little bit of a Cajun gumbo to it. Now this is
he reminds me of Barmore. I actually like him envisioning a skit where we have a conversation between Barmore and Maye, and we're like, what the F did they say?
Well, all we got to do, we know people. We just have to pitch the Patriot socials, Barmore and Maye, and then like
have them just talk show, like fast talk.
No, just like it'll just be like first take style, or maybe just like they talk about like current events,
and then
just try to see if you
King of the Hill.
And you have to honestly turn on closed captions for every episode because you have no idea what the F they're saying. I kind of love it. There's a little Bobby Boucher to him, but anyway, look, did he make a couple bad reads? Yes. Did he take some sacks he shouldn't have? Yes. Did he hold on to the ball a few times? Yes. He is playing behind the worst offensive line in the NFL and perhaps in the history of the franchise as well. But we did see pocket awareness at times. We did see some beautiful passes as well. We saw some of that signature improvisational talent, both with arm and legs. And generally, you know what? It never looked to me like I didn't see Bledsoe or Mac Jones happy feet. I didn't see that. I'm sure the game felt like it was playing at a different speed to him at times. Maybe it felt like it slowed down later in the game, but I never felt like the game was too much for him when I was watching.
No, because it isn't. He's at his best when he's competing. He's at his best when the speed is coming at him because he is a game day guy. I've seen that more and more. It's why I think he throws those deep balls so well, because it's just like take the brain out of it and the body takes over and he just drops back and chucks it. Yeah, I'm over the top. Now, as far as Brad asked a question about, do we know if he checked in and out of plays? No, because I'm not PFF. I don't pretend that I know the play calls. Only they can pretend they know the play calls and then grade people on plays that they don't know. I thought their offense ran relatively efficiently. If there's anybody that I think needs to step up his game, it would be Alex Van Pelt. I think Alex Van Pelt needs to figure out what he has at quarterback and make better use of what he has at quarterback, because I didn't see a lot of Drake Maye specific adjustments. I think you need to now tailor this offense to Drake Maye, and that's going to be a challenge for Alex Van Pelt, who's already facing the challenge of just play calls and proving that he can be the architect of a good NFL offense.
Yeah, we talked about who we thought we were going to learn the most about on Sunday, and Drake Maye obviously was number one, but right behind him, number two, was Alex Van Pelt. And Alex Van Pelt's off. You know what, Andy? It's fine. It's like an offense.
Sure, it's fine.
No, but you know what it is? Alex Van Pelt's offense is like it's a prefab Halloween costume you buy when you need something to wear to a party.
A big banana?
There you go. It's the big, you know what? His cost. No, that's actually more fun than his offense.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. His is like construction worker.
Ghost, and you cut 2 holes in the thing.
Yeah,
like, I'm a
it's
ghost.
just like great. Yeah, and actually, I really wish I didn't have to see this anymore either.
Now I
it's
have
not
holy sheets.
I don't need. Jesus. All the low hanging fruit, man. You're getting all your sugars and fibers today.
Yep.
The roster is not great, folks, but at the same, Alex Van Pelt, Scott Peters, Gerard Mayo, they don't have a lot of premium or elite talent to work with. But I just don't see, is he really scheming people? Isn't it a lot of just like Andrew Callahan was pointing out that there was too many routes and concepts where you have to win one-on-ones. And this is not a win your one-on-one matchup type of team. This is a contested catch. Got to find a way to scheme him open in space and get him moving type of roster, I should say. Otherwise, you're going to have to go schoolyard and wait till Drake Maye runs around long enough for Pop or Baker or Booty to uncover, because they don't all uncover or like get themselves open immediately.
And talent's definitely an issue. And Kenny Tasney says, if you want to become the early 2000s Browns, Jags, or Saints, then by all means run AVP out of town. I'll be honest with you. He has become my Jacoby Brissett. He's a really nice man. I don't want him to do the job. And I never wanted him to do the job. I never understood why a guy who went 15 years between opportunities in a place where they give opportunities like they're candy on Halloween was the best guy for the job, a guy who'd never done it. Like, his resume is what it is. And, to start the game, I don't really care about the talent around him. I thought 2 runs to start the game, and forget about the blocking and forget about Antonio Gibson dancing. To me, the obvious answer was a wide zone boot to start the game. That's how you get a quarterback who's nervous, not nervous. You let him throw the ball in a little 5-yard toss in the flat and get him saying, oh, nice. This is just football. If football leaves my hand, it gets in that guy's hand. We move the ball. It's fun. Like, I didn't like anything about that. And everybody's like, oh, they finally ran a 2-minute drill. They ran a 2-minute drill because the quarterback was capable of running a 2-minute drill. He was capable of making the throws. They made some plays down the field. He threw a 40-yard touchdown pass. So that's what, that was all about. As much as I don't want to change coordinators in the first year of Drake Maye, you know what's worse than changing coordinators too soon? Changing coordinators too late and wasting years of Drake Maye and realizing the guy can't do it.
The thing that will possibly become an issue is the multiple coordinators over multiple years. Like, you best know that Alex Van Pelt is your guy for a while to groom the quarterback, to make him a pro. But they're not going to get rid of him midseason. I think he's well regarded by the roster. I think the other coaches like him as well.
The answer Drake May had yesterday about him was just immediate, like emotional, invested, which is great. I love that he loves him. I want him to love him. That's the most important guy in his development, and they should be paired up, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say two words that could be available. And you know who I think hurt Gerard Mayo's tenure as head coach already the most? Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel. Because he was available, and everybody says you should have hired Mike Vrabel. He's still available. And you know who I think is going to hurt Alex Van Pelt's tenure potentially? Brian Daboll, when he's available, and everybody's gonna be like, "Why don't you go get Daboll? Look what he did with Josh Allen. He's gonna be."
We don't want to upset the apple cart. We just want to. We got a thing going with AVP, and it's not good for the kid.
Your apple cart has square wheels.
Listen, there isn't an argument can be made that you may have to give AVP a second season with a proper offensive line and better assets, better weaponry around him.
Absolutely, that argument can be made.
I think he's in it for. I think Alex Van Pelt is in it for a 2-year haul. All right, before we get to the back end and discuss everything else,
May in year 3.
Before we get to, it's not my choice. I'm just guessing what I think it's going to be. Before we get there, so what do we think? Rest of the week, and he said we'll obviously do our preview podcast later on in the week.
We got breaking news. You want breaking news?
That's going to be in the back end of the podcast in the Pat's Puri portion. We're taking
breaking news in our back end. What?
My God.
I tried a bidet for the first time.
Nope. Didn't know that. Now I do.
Have you ever tried a bidet?
I certainly have. Yes.
Feels kind of good.
Yes, they're wonderful. If we had better plumbing in this country and we were a more civilized nation and we were less afraid of things like, mental health and hygiene, then we would actually all put one in our house, because it's a much cleaner you when you use a bidet.
Yeah, but it leaves you wet, so you still got to dry, right?
Oh my God. All right. Is this really, can't we save this for like week 13?
Oh yeah, we might need this. Okay, forget it.
Let's table the bidet talk for later. Let's table the bidet talk.
Today was a bad day for bidet talk.
Let's issue bidet.
Erica Badu doesn't care for this conversation.
Look, can we eschew bidet for May, please? Can we just get back to the topic at hand?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Can I just get a grown up in here, please?
No.
What happens next for him? Like he had praise galore heaped on him by Kurt Warner, Brian Baldinger, anyone else who does breakdowns, played the game. Loved up on him.
Spoken yet? I haven't seen much from Orlovsky.
He's clapped back at some people that quote tweeted his big ESPN thing last week, saying like, "I didn't say that he was going to fail. I just said I was concerned. I wouldn't have started him
for 2 years." And yet he was out there throwing 3 touchdowns. He did something no one else has ever done. He threw 3 touchdowns and led his team in rushing in his NFL debut.
Yeah, that hasn't happened since 1950. His debut against the best defense that any of these quarterbacks have faced in this rookie campaign of 2024, in this trash fire NFL season. He was better in his debut than Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, than Spencer Rattler. He was better than Jaden Daniels. Now, Jaden Daniels is obviously the toast of the town and the belle of the football, but Drake May did a whole lot of good, and that was against a tough defense. And yeah, we all knew that the Texans were going to win, but if you walked away, I'll quote one of my favorite follows at Boorish Sports. If you walked away from that game being anything less than impressed, then you're just basically trying to be an asshole. So there you go.
I know you have to swear.
Okay. All right, Brad, nice talking to you and everyone else that enjoyed the bidet talk. And yes, Kenny Tasney, Tyquan Thornton is much like the first leg of this podcast. Done. We are moving on. Thank you guys for listening, watching, sharing, and enjoying. We're going to move on to the back end where we'll do a little Pat's Puri, everything else circulating, not down the bidet, but in the wide world of Pat's Nation and the NFL.
Back end?
Please. Okay, ready? Act like grown-ups in 3, 2, 1. All right, it's the second leg of Six Rings and Football Things right now, because we do have a listening audience, not just the people that Andy likes to play to on our live stream whenever we record Six Rings. And we do have some breaking news to get to. Actually, I think this is the least surprising breaking news in the NFL or the history of the NFL. After the Jets looked like crap once again on offense and got another L hung on them, definitely Robert Saleh's fault. Oh, totally. Thank God you got Jeff Ulbrich in there, everyone, and changed play callers from Nate Hackett to Todd Downing. Well, Downing Abbey didn't get it done. 23-20 Bills was the final on Monday night. And what do the Jets do on Tuesday morning? Wake up and choose violence, or at least they wake up and choose the predictable chaos that is bringing Davante Adams to town. That's right. Aaron Rodgers is reunited with his boo. He gets his binky on the outside. The Raiders don't have to worry about that headache any longer. They're going to get a third-round draft pick that can be turned into a second if necessary. So it seems like fair compensation. They paid a whole hell of a lot more than that. They got a couple of years out of him. Nothing good came of it. What do we think is going to happen for Aaron Rodgers, who has not thrown for 300 yards in forever? It has not elevated the level of the Jets the same way that Peyton Manning did the Broncos or that Brady did the Buccaneers. Is this the final key to the Aaron ayahuasca Darnie Darkness puzzle?
I'm a Jets believer in their talent, so I think something has to wake them up. Watching that game last night, Rodgers was an emotional mess. He just kept like looking up at the lights with like these lost eyes, these empty eyes. This is his boy. You know, you put the band back together, and whatever you think of Rodgers and whatever you think of Adams now, Rodgers, Adams, and Garrett Wilson, that's a pretty good trio.
Well, yeah, and also Breece Hall, who they continue to still get nothing out of. Braylon Allen, not Braylon Edwards. That receiver's been retired for a long time. Braylon Allen is a rock solid RB2. Like, they have the talent, and they've got a good line. They really should be out of excuses. I'll tell you what, you put Drake May on this Jets team, they're not scoring 20 points a night. I said it.
I kind of agree, because I think he would bring energy, effort, and attitude. And I think right now the Jets' problem is energy, effort, and attitude. And it starts with the quarterback. I think he needs to snap out of it. Now, I don't think he's as good as he once was. I think that's clear. Like, I just think he's making plays, missing plays that he used to make, and he doesn't anymore. But don't tell me he's not capable of making plays. He can still be a good enough quarterback, even if he's not a GOAT quarterback or a boat quarterback or whatever the hell you wanted to call him in his heyday. And with those weapons, he, like I said, the Patriots entered the fun with the quarterback position with Drake May. He's entered the conversation as like the best quarterback wide receiver combinations in the NFL, and he better make good use of it.
Ooh, I like this question. Kenny Tasney, who's currently watching on Facebook as we record the latest Six Rings and Football Things. Would you hire Robert Saleh to New England as defensive coordinator? Our defense, not so great, and Saleh as a DC was pretty good. Now, I do ask you this as a follow-up to that, Andy. Do you think Saleh was a good defensive coordinator? Kind of like, well, it's easy to be a really good chef when you're working with like foie gras, caviar, Irish butter, and Kobe beef.
I just want the Kobe beef and none of the rest of that. But
yeah, I'm hungry. I don't know why.
I think he was a good defensive coach with really good talent and also a good offense. Like, you know, they were a good complementary football team when he was out there. I don't know that works. I don't know, like, schematically with the Mayo, Covington, Belichick style defense, and then you're going to bring in Saleh. How does he want to run it? And now you have a former head coach under a defensive head coach. I don't. It's very weird. It's a weird situation. Yeah, that's the one thing we learned last night. My dream of Bill Belichick and Aaron Rodgers teaming up with the Jets ain't happening. Nope.
I don't have the clip, but I'm sure a lot of you saw it either on social media later or during the Manning cast. But Peyton on the Manning cast synthesized a copy of the napkin that Belichick submitted to the Jets. I resign as HC of the NYJ-BB. And then Belichick just absolutely brought the Jets to the woodshed, finished with them, carried them to the dumpster, tossed them in, and then lit it on fire. What did he say? Like, oh, that's an organizational thing. You know, that's the way that owner does. You know, they just find someone to blame, and then it's ready, fire, aim.
Yep. Yeah,
Oof,
no, he
toast. Boom, roasted.
Clearly, time has not healed wounds, and he's not. They are off my Bill watch list of potential landing spots for Bill Belichick, even though I think it would be the most fun, enjoyable one from a theatrical perspective and a story. So yeah, I'm interested. Like the Bills get an ugly win last night with everything that went on. If the Jets won last night and they got a Hail Mary at the end of the first half at Rodgers doing Rodgers things, they win that game. They're in first place. And with a new
now
coach.
they're down with the Patriots and the Dolphins. Again,
New England Patriots they're not down that far.
All right. Well, I mean, the Pats easily could be 2-4, if not 3-3. But I know they're 1-5.
And the Jets could be 3-2 and in first place. You are what your record says you are, and you're a football team that's lost 5 in a row.
I understand that they're a team that has lost 5 in a row. Ding dong. That they're not very good. I understand the talent surrounding Drake May.
You lost to the Dolphins. The Dolphins are the worst team in football, and you lost
with Jacoby Brissett. And I don't want to play the why didn't you start Drake May earlier game, but also why didn't the Patriots?
The plan was stupid.
Yes, it was. There is something we can all agree on. The plan
or should we?
And I didn't even make it. There was no sense of, you know what? Actually, I think Mayo tried to explain a little bit around the plan. Let me see if this word salad brings any comfort to anyone.
Nope.
Through the draft, we're always trying to improve our roster. Now, in saying that, we had, a lot of holes on the roster that we felt coming out of the draft that we addressed. Now, in free agency, we still felt like we signed the best offensive lineman in Mike Onwenu, and then re-signing some of our own players, which was definitely part of it. Now, once again, look, this isn't a one-year thing in my mind. It's going to take time to continue to build out the roster, and that's how it is.
All right, that was less about the plan and more about why the roster around Drake May is not so good. Okay, you signed the best offensive lineman you think is available via free agency. He happens to be your own. He hasn't been particularly good this year.
No,
you still didn't address some of the other
boat
needs.
Drags all boats down, apparently, or something like that.
How? I mean, do we just need to stop talking about the roster at large now at this point? Otherwise, we're going to drive ourselves nuts. Okay,
that's how I approached it with my co-host on Monday, because he was so fixated on the bad roster. That's been a bad roster.
He was big mad about it too.
But I don't get it. I don't understand how people like him, you people, thought somehow you had one pick at the top of the draft and we're somehow going to draft a blue chip quarterback, a blue chip left tackle, and a blue chip wide receiver with one pick. Like you were going to split it somehow, double down.
It wasn't going to happen that way, but there are some other receivers that were taken that have been more productive. But maybe you could also say, hey, those people are landed in better situations with more established quarterbacks. Sure. There was a run on left tackles that supposedly the Patriots were surprised by.
Who looks like a stud wide receiver that the Patriots could have had?
Who looks like a stud wide receiver the Patriots could have had? I still would have taken Ladd McConkey at 32.
Yeah, but he's not a stud wide receiver. He's a run-of-the-mill receiver right now.
He is not run-of-the-mill. Don't you dare ever take those words out of your whore mouth.
Not a number one receiver. So I just, there's all these dreams. Could they have done things differently? I still say the biggest sin for me, for Elliott Wolf and roster construction, was not getting a left tackle of any sort. Everything was about this veteran could play there. This rookie could play there. They didn't get a left tackle. And then they were stunned when they, oh my God, didn't have a left tackle. That was, to me, a really, really bad decision by Elliott Wolf.
Yes, I completely agree. What do you think about the idea? Marcus Jones on offense more.
Oh, I'm all for that. That's fine. I don't think that necessarily solves the problem. And by the way, he's one of your top 3 corners. So when he gets hurt or tired, that's going to hinder your back end. Back-to-back.
Malik Neighbors, definitely a stud wide receiver, but he went top 10.
No. I'm not asking about Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze or Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm saying receivers you could have had the way you drafted. McConkey's not a beast. He's a guy. He's not going to be a number 1 wide receiver. He's not going to change things. Demario Douglas is fine. You have Demario Douglas. So
Pop is fine. I like Pop. Pop had a great game, got his first touchdown, told everyone he was going to go home and sleep with the ball. I was thrilled for him.
My point is, this is not the year where DK and Debo and AJ Brown all went and you could have had them, or Puka Nacua and you could have had them. So far, we're not really seeing these massive later picks at the wide receiver position, just like we're also not really seeing massive success later at tackle. I would have traded up, I think, for a tackle. I would have traded up for one of those tackles that were going in the late 20s, and I would have tried to see if he could fit. But they are slow playing it. I think they're trying to do blue chip. And I think it's a solid plan. If they nail a early first round tackle and then get T. Higgins, I think within a year you've done a pretty admirable job.
Jordan Watson, who usually brings the funny to the feed, watching live on Facebook, actually just with a legitimately good question. Besides not getting a left tackle, why put a rookie play caller in to assist a rookie? It's a very good question.
Well, you were
like, did you want to grow them together, Andy?
You were going to do that either way. I mean, the top choices were who? Nick Caley, Zach Robinson. They were all going to be rookie play callers. You just happened to get the rookie play caller who's not young, who's been hanging around for 20 years and finally was given an opportunity. If you want to question the AVP hiring, I'm all for it. I didn't like it at the time. You can go back and listen to the Rich Keefe show. I was live when the news came out, and I hated it. And I was
I remember you guys were not like you guys what referred to him as the 12th option.
And I felt bad, but the truth is never mean. And I didn't see the luster and allure of Alex Van Pelt. And 6 games into the season, I don't see the luster and allure of Alex Van Pelt.
All right. A couple last little things. Robert Kraft appeared on the Breakfast Club podcast, talked about Bill Belichick and giving him too much power. I don't want to go back into that thing. He talked about Tom Brady, that whole decision. Have no idea why Robert Kraft wanted to do this podcast appearance in the first place. Don't need the distraction now. Did talk about the fact that in giving Bill Belichick too much power, he had no safeguards, and he feels as though that's part of the reason why the roster is in the current state that it is, because they were not getting the results they wanted the last few years, and the drafting was kind of bad. In that answer, I take a little comfort, and I agree, but also at the same time, he's just showing that it was poorly handled, and now like trying to exonerate himself. I don't want the distraction. I don't feel like going over this time again. We have to address it because we're a Patriots podcast, but didn't love the appearance and don't need the extra agitation right now. What we do need to focus on it. Oh, he also said that if Jabril Peppers is found guilty, or they learn that the video does not fully exonerate him, then he'll be gone immediately, and they'll get rid of themselves. As he should be. Absolutely 100%. It's no questions asked, zero tolerance policy. But when you don't have your best defensive lineman, your best linebacker, and then your best safety right straight up the gut, like lousy pitcher, lousy shortstop, lousy center fielder, you're probably not going to have great defense, which brings us to our last point, Andy. The hell are the Patriots going to do to fix their defense?
Get Christian Barmore back. He's been getting more and more active on social media. He put a picture out yesterday of him playing football. So, I don't want to put it on him because that's not fair to him on a lot of levels. Coming off a health scare, a health issue, to say, now I need you to be the savior of my defense. But it certainly won't hurt the defense if you can get Christian Barmore back on the field. Because you know who I think has been sneaky bad in recent weeks?
Who?
Your boy, Keon White. I think all the edge rushers,
he's your
long
boy.
Run. Oh, now neither of us wants him?
You know who sneaky out loud stinks, and I would give to Detroit for a 7th round pick? Uche.
Yeah, he's not great. None of those guys have stepped up. Remember the whole story, like,
no pass
this will be good. You trade Judon, and it'll give the opportunity for guys like Jennings and Uche and White to step up. White stepped up for a couple weeks. He ain't done crap in the last 4 weeks. In fact, has made more mistakes than he's made plays. And most of the big plays allowed, I feel like he's been negatively involved in.
Ah, that's hurtful and probably true. Yeah, he hasn't been great. Getting too far upfield, getting knocked off their spot, occasional pressure. Anthony Jennings can only do so much. Dietrich Wise, same thing. There's just no pass rush. And now people are going to enter the chat with good thing we traded Judon. They got a 3rd round pick for him on a team that desperately needs an infusion of youth and talent and potential. Matt Judon is much better than anyone else that is currently on this roster. But what would it do for the 2024 Patriots, who look to have a pretty low ceiling in the first place?
It would hurt their draft pick. You might accidentally win a game somewhere along the way if he has a strip sack or something. So I don't want that. I'm telling you, the Andy Hart plan is coming to fruition. You're getting Drake Maye on the field. He's making plays, making highlights, getting excitement, giving entertainment value, losing games, getting a number 1 pick, trading number 1 pick, getting a tackle, getting a star wide receiver. And baby, you're in the playoff conversation this time next year.
Are you at all concerned, though? Final question. Are you at all concerned that Devon Godchaux said in the postgame on Sunday that he felt like guys were kind of checking out, making business decisions to not like they weren't fully committed. There wasn't a lot like there seemed to be some resignation on the defense. Like, man, these guys are better. We just can't cover Diggs. Gonzo, your boy Gonzo Sunday. Yeesh.
It happens.
They had to switch to zone. They had to switch to zone just to stop him from getting burned so much.
He's not perfect, and I thought it was a little overrated. He was chasing Diggs. He wasn't tight coverage, but I didn't think he looked like a chicken with his head cut off, no idea where to go, running around crazily. He was chasing. He was beaten by a guy who is a good number one receiver, and the quarterback is a good young quarterback and got the ball to his good number one receiver. I didn't think it was embarrassing. That was
he won. Diggs won the day.
And that's going to happen. He's not freaking Darrelle Revis. Can we stop with that?
Who said he was Darrelle?
All
Revis?
You people.
You misheard.
I misread on social media where people told me he was like the best corner in football. He's not. It's fine. He's good.
Andy sounds so butthurt.
My butt's nice and clean.
Oh, pick up Devon White and Hassan Reddick if available. Yeah, who's got what?
I want no part of Hassan Reddick.
I want zero part of Hassan Reddick. Zero part.
I might consider Devon White. Is it Devon or Devin?
Devin White. Devin White. He's good. He's a good linebacker as well.
I'd take him.
But
Christian Ellis has been playing a lot.
I don't think we need to. Yes, Gonzo is very good, but he lost. This is
is great from you people.
Okay, I would like to remind everybody. Guess what Sunday was? His 9th NFL game. He's barely halfway through what is an oversized rookie campaign. The guy needs time. And also Steph Diggs usually grabs the lunch out of the Patriots cornerbacks and eats it right in front of him as well. And Pop Douglas, hopefully he becomes Tank Dell as well, because Pop is really good, but Tank Dell, man, when that kid is healthy, woo. Also, the run defense, maybe Godshow was right. Those guys need to beef up and step up because
maybe he needs to shut up and just play.
Whoa!
He talks a lot. Have you noticed he talks a lot? Seems like every week he's got something to say about somebody.
He does, and usually wearing something very fancy.
Yeah, and I know that's hypocritical. Oh, you guys in the media complain when guys don't talk, and now you're saying this guy talks too much. You did it with Mayo. You were happy.
Wow, here's an idea. Here's an idea. This is interesting. Trade Wayne Felch with a comment watching live on Facebook to secure T. Higgins now. Trade a second and Jalen Polk. That's
I would do it last week, next week, any week you want a week. I mean, did anybody watch out the other night? I know the Bengals offense wasn't cooking exactly, but T. Higgins looked good. T. Higgins looked strong-handed and willing to step up. I am ready for the T. Higgins experience in New England. Tee him up.
And just like I'm with Ice baby, Javon Baker needs to be in the starting lineup. He's a great route runner.
He is not a great route runner. Whoa. Ice baby, you need to slow your roll and melt yourself because he is not a great route runner. He's a questionable route runner at best. And he's questionable work ethic, questionable attitude, questionable hands. He's just a big old questionable.
Inappropriate talk, innuendos, nonsense, arguing. This is what talk radio was like 30 years ago. That's why
I actually think I may have arrived at talk radio like 30 years too late. I think I would have kicked ass and taken names in like the 90s.
Totally. Oh, just like Andy. I've always said
like Archie Bunker style stuff.
Yeah, you would have been great on the Big Show or something like that back in the day, where like the low-hanging fruit, the broad references, the towing of the line. Easy. Just like I always believe I was born 40 years too late. I'm born to be a 1960s game show host with this voice, these pipes, these looks. Come on.
That's true. I don't disagree with you. So now we're both just
out of place and out of time, and we're out of time.
Failures.
And that'll do for the latest Six Rings in Football Things podcast. Thank you guys for watching live on the WEEI and Fitzy GFY socials. Thank you guys for telling your friends. This is a great forum to talk football in Foxborough. May Day has come. Will there be more joy, more touchdowns, and more hope to follow? We shall see. I'll be live at Gillette Stadium Sunday hosting the season ticket member party. Andy and I will be back with a preview podcast later in the week. Tomorrow, I'll have someone from Pro Football Focus on to give us the analytics and a little bit more of a critical look at Drake May's first start and what the number nerds think of Drake May going forward. So we've got a ton lined up for you. Stay tuned. Tell your friends. God bless.